friends, welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to show you my go-to makeup lately. Now admittedly, I have not been doing this very much over the last few months because I'm not exactly leaving the house very often. I do have a couple of days here and there where I am going into work, and also I just have some days where I feel like putting on makeup. So that is what I'm going to show you. Some of these products you will have seen from me before, some of these ones I have reviews on, but I'm really liking the way my makeup is turning out lately, so I thought I would show it to you. Let's get my hair out of the way a little bit to start. To start with, there is some prep going on. So I'm going to do that because I need to sort of let the prep sit for a little bit before we go on with the makeup. And basically that is that it is summer outside, it is sunny, so I need sunblock. The one that I've been using lately is the Copper Tone Pure and Simple. It's actually their baby sunblock, but I am enjoying using mineral sunscreens. I find that they do a great job of protecting, but they also don't sort of sting. They don't feel as, I mean, they feel a little oily, but it's more that I can get it close to my eyes. I don't have to worry about like sweating and SPF getting into my eyes and feeling like blah. I know there are great SPFs that are specifically made for the face that are probably better under makeup, but I'm going to show you with this one. So one of the things about mineral makeup is it has a ton of, or mineral sunscreen, is it has a ton of white cast. So for me, I find that you need a little less than you think you need, and then you sort of need to let it sink in for a little bit. So let me do that to start with. And then I always do a bunch on my chest because I am the worst for getting sunburnt right there. So you can see when you first put this on, it almost has like a blue cast to it, but it does sort of get better as you let it sit. And yeah, it provides good protection. And you know, I need better protection than just like a little bit of SPF in some moisturizer or in a foundation. So this is what I do. Get some on my nose. Now, if I'm going to be like full on out in the sun, like, I don't know, going to a cottage and going swimming, I will, you know, forego makeup and just put on like a ton of sunblock. Also, how are my roots growing in already? So there we go. You can see it gives a little bit of sort of a tinge of a different color, but not too bad. And I do like to let it sit for a little bit. And the other prep that I will do prior to actual makeup application, sometimes it will be that I have washed and moisturized and done all my skincare a while before I put on makeup. So if that is true, then I want to take a little bit of eye cream and put some additional eye cream on, just because I want my under eyes to be like, oops, just well moisturized, because I've been using not a lot of like under eye concealer. I've been going very light on it, so having some extra moisturization in my eye really helps it, you know, work well. And the one that I'm using is one that I'm currently testing and just started using, and that is the Dr. Brandt Eye Cream. It is the 24/7 Retinol Eye Cream with Ruby Crystal Complex. So I'm gonna let this all set for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back to do the actual makeup. The sunscreen has sunk in as much as it's going to, and I'm going to zoom you in so we can see the makeup application a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure why I'm looking a little bit red right there. Sometimes weird stuff like that just happens. I wanted to mention, even though I'm not going to use it today, that I have been loving this primer. I'm very much considering rebuying this primer. It's the Ciate Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. I have so many hydrating primers, but for some reason this one always gave me just a wonderful makeup day and base day, so much so that I am out of it. However, when I use sunscreen, I don't tend to use a primer just because I feel concerned that the primer is going to move around the sunblock a little bit on my face. We'll see. I mean, if I sort of get a SPF that I like for my face that sinks in a little bit more, I may go back to using more of a primer, but I don't mind having the makeup, or the sunscreen, I should say, just be my base. But this is a really good one. As far as products I have repurchased and really enjoy, I have purchased the CoverGirl Outlast Active, It has SPF 20 in it. I find it has a very natural look while still having good coverage. The shade that I have here is 805. I thought maybe it had like a name for that. Ivory, that's the shade. And I do quite like this. This is my second bottle of it. I think I had a different shade before, which maybe I liked a little bit more. I feel like this might be a bit light for me. But I am going to apply this off of my hand with a sponge. And please don't judge my sponge. I desperately need to get a new one. It's very stained and also very ripped up at this point. I need to get a new one. What I've been doing is starting at the outside of my face. For a while I would start with the foundation on the inside of my face and blend out. Now I tend to start on the outside and blend in so that I really have not too much buildup of product in the middle of my face. And I should probably get a mirror for this. So starting at the outside ensures as I move it in, I'm getting really light coverage and I can build that if I want to. But for me, I would rather have a lighter coverage than look cakey. Like I said, I do have that extra bit of red there right now. I don't know where that's coming from. So that is half my face done. And for me, a big issue with where I find cakiness and creasing is around my nose, on my upper lip, because I have lots of fine lines, and then also some of the lines around my lips. So I really like that working from the outside in gives me the least amount of product when I get there. And I don't have a huge amount of like breakouts or things to cover. If anything, I like my freckles to show through. Sorry, I have the, let's turn that lighting down a little bit. I like my freckles to still show through, but just have the foundation even everything out. So I'll just do the other side. So that is my foundation done, and it's actually very hard even up close to see any kind of foundation. It just really melds with my skin. Next, I'm going to do just a little bit of concealer where I need it, just a tiny bit under my eyes. I don't have a huge issue with under eye darkness. I do have some under eye lines, but not a big issue with under eye darkness. Also, I know I'm looking very red right there right now. I tend to get a little red and blotchy on my neck, but I blend a little bit down, but it's not that bad of a shade match. It's just I tend to get a bit red, and I just don't want to have makeup all over my neck and chest. Just personal preference. What I'm using is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer. It's like a classic. I have this one, again, in the shade Ivory, number 100. And what I've been doing lately, instead of like drawing it on and really blending, is just taking my finger, getting a bit of the concealer on there, and I'm just going to dab that under my eye just where I need it. Or where I want it, not need it. And I'll do a little bit up onto my eye as well, just to sort of act like the base there, and a little bit over that red spot. Sometimes I'll do a little bit just in the middle of my forehead where I tend to get a little bit red, but it's very light coverage. Like, I have some freckles under my eyes. I'm not trying to cover everything. I'm not trying to blank it out. I'm just trying to have the most natural, you know, evened out skin that I can. What I will often do at this point is powder my lids a little bit and put on my eyeliner, because I like it to have enough time to really set before I do my lashes. So I'm using, this isn't my favorite powder, but it's what I have. It's the Ciate Coconut Everyday Vacay Powder. I don't love the coconut smell. I mean, it's just sort of an average powder, but it works well enough. So, as I said, just setting my eyes there a little bit. And you guys have heard me mention this eyeliner so many times, but it is such a great go-to liner because it does not smudge. It does not, well, it does flake if you wear it for like 24 hours and sleep in it, but it doesn't bleed or run or smudge in any way. Like once this locks in, it is there. And when it actually does come off, it comes off in like pilling. So it never at any point gets under your eyes or moves around. And again, in the summer when maybe you're outside and you tend to maybe sweat a little bit more, or you have like, you know, some sunscreen or something on, this just, it's my go-to. And I should tell you what it is. This is the Butter London Glazin Lustrous Liner in the shade Disco. It's a black liner and there is some micro shimmer in it, which is not my favorite. I would love if it was just a black liner, but the micro shimmer isn't super noticeable. And because it is the best liner I have ever used for just staying put, I'm willing to overlook that. I don't know if they have other liners that are the same kind of liquid liner, but without the glitter in it. If so, I would jump on those in a minute. If you guys know, let me know. But it's a, I want to say felt tip, that's not right. It's like a brush tip, but it is just so, so good. And I'm going to be so, so bad at putting this on while holding a mirror. Usually this is on my little table and I can like steady my hand on the table, but I'm going to do what I can do. I will sometimes also do this before I do my base because I tend to rest my hand on my cheek. I just kind of forgot to do it that way this time. And I will sometimes, as I've done today, give myself a little bit of a wing, but it's usually a very baby wing because I just like eyeliner to sort of thicken up my lash line a little bit and just define my eyes a bit more. And if you ever feel nervous about eyeliner, what I will often do instead of trying to draw a line is just take the side of it and lay it down along my lash line. So it's almost like stamping it into place. That was the easy eye. The other one is the hard eye. Okay, that was okay, not great, but I don't want to get into let's keep trying to even it out territory. The next thing that I'm going to do is my blush because I have been using cream blush lately. I don't know why cream blush seems hard to say, but there you go. The one that I'm going to be using, not at all what you need to use because it's crazy expensive. I happen to get this in a BoxyCharm. Any cream blush that you like the shade of will do, but I am using the Natasha Denona in Bloom palette because that is what I have, and I just use a combination of the two cream blushes, the Glow and the Blush. And what I like to use is use like part of the tip of my beauty blender to get in there and get the product on. I have been enjoying the trend that a lot of people have been enjoying lately, which is having my blush really high and carrying across my nose and reddening up my nose. I think it's that whole like e-girl thing, but I just really like that it is very youthful looking. It lifts the face quite a bit, as opposed to sort of the chiseled kind of carving and contouring. I find this really complements my face shape a lot more and just makes me look younger, which I'm all about. Now, don't be scared because when I put this on, it's going to look crazy, but I promise you, it gets normal again. So that looks crazy, right? There's a couple things that I'm gonna do. First of all, it looks extra crazy on camera for some reason. The first thing I'm gonna do is take my sponge again where I had, you know, foundation before and even that out a little bit. So to blend. The other great thing about doing cream blush is it stays all day because you set it and it's there like your foundation. So there we go. Still crazy. I get that. But when I blend powder over top of this to set my face, it really brings down that redness. So I'm gonna get my Ciate blush out, not blush, powder out again. And I don't use a lot. I sort of tap my brush in there and really tap it off quite a bit because I don't want a heavy layer of powder. And I sort of start down there just because I don't mind setting that area a bit more, but then really blend and you can see how it brings down that sort of crazy redness that was there. This is also where you really notice the coconut scent. But see already, you can see that that has evened out to not as crazy an amount of blush. Just looks very youthful and lifted. I will some days do my brows and some days I won't. They're crazy right now because although I sometimes pluck them now and then, I tend to go out and get my brows waxed and that hasn't happened in about 3 months at this point. So yeah, I'm just gonna ignore my brows for today, a very natural look. Some days I won't do anything to my eyes except just put on some liner because I'm not big on eyeshadow lately, but if I do feel like adding a little bit more definition, I do a super simple look. So I'm just gonna use my Tarteist Pro Glow palette here, but basically I use something that has a little bit of some kind of bronzer color and then something with some highlight. And I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush into, I don't know, I kind of go back and forth between the two, just into some kind of like bronzer, because that's going to be my, just starting in sort of like the socket of my eye there, pulling it through the crease, blending it around a little bit, but it's very natural looking and just gives a little bit of shadow. There we go. It looks a little bit orangey on camera. It doesn't really look that way in real life. And then again, I just take one of my fingers and go into like the highlight that's here and just dab that over the inside to middle of my lid, just to give a little bit of shine. Maybe a touch in the inner corners. So the only thing I have left to do is lips and mascara. I'm not using any highlighter because I'm going to be using a really glowy setting spray, and it sort of negates the need to have like actual highlighter. So I'm using here the Iconic London Prep Set Glow, and you'll see it adds a lot of glow. And I like to do this before my eyeliner, or not my eyeliner, my eyeliner's on, before my mascara, so that it doesn't lead it to run. So I don't know if you can tell that that's added like a lot of glow all over my face. It is now time for lashes, so I'm just going to curl my lashes. And this is why I like to let my liner set so that I don't mess with it at all when I'm doing my eyelash curling. The mascara that I'm going to use, I've yet to find like a truly waterproof mascara, but the waterproof mascara I currently have on the go is the Essence Lash Princess. I like to use a really light hand with this. One of the things that Lash Princess is known for is that it will give you like really crazy voluminous lashes. I'm not really going for that because I don't like that clumpy spidery look. So I like to use just sort of like one or two sweeps of it just to give some blackness to my lashes and a little bit of like length and definition to my lash line. But I'm not trying to build this way up, and I'm also not going to do it on my lower lash line because I like the sort of clean look of not having the longer lower lashes, and I also find the lower lashes are more likely to smudge or run. There we go. The very last thing that I'm going to do is my lips, and I wanted to give a couple of honorable mentions here that I'm not going to be using, but I have really enjoyed. The Fenty lip gloss, this is in Diamond Milk. I mean, I don't even necessarily use it as a gloss. This is just such a delightful scent and so moisturizing on my lips. I keep this in my washroom and put it on like 3 or 4 times a day, even though I'm not going out anywhere, because it is just such a delightful feeling just on my lips and keeps my lips hydrated and moisturized, and is just a very luxurious treat to myself. When my hair was more blonde, which it was like a few weeks ago as my red came out and then I re-dyed it and it's darker now, I was really enjoying using this Nude Stix Magnetic Lip Plush Paint. This is in the shade Wakiki Rose. It went really well with my sort of complexion then. I'll just put it on so you can see. But it does have a pinkness to it that doesn't go super well with my current darker hair. But I love that it was like almost like a super pigmented gloss. Like, it feels so incredibly light and so very nice on my lips, but it still has some lasting power. What I have been using, and I think works really well with my tone and my hair color right now, is this Iconic London Gloss. This is, oof, what is the shade of this? It's in the shade Sex Kitten. That's funny. This is a lip plumping gloss, and what I love about this is that it's a gloss, but it almost stains your lips, and it's just such a wash of color that still looks very natural. So I don't put a huge amount on. I do about that much and then blend it out with my finger. And I find it just makes it look like I have naturally like more blush lips than I actually do, but something about the deeper tone of this just goes well with my complexion and my hair color right now. So that is the entirety of the look. I really enjoy how natural this is, whether you're far away or close up. It has, you know, some lift to my face, but it looks very much like my own skin, just some with additional glow to it. It will protect me from the sun if I do get sweaty, if I am out, you know, for a walk or a jog. Not that I jog in makeup, but my eyeliner, my mascara is not going to run and get all over my face. This is sort of heat proof and very lightweight feeling at the same time, which I really enjoy. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the products that I'm really enjoying using. I hope maybe you got something from this. Thank you so much for joining me for this today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.